Good evening, race fans, and welcome to Auto Club Speedway. We're out West Fontana, California, the site of round 7 of 8 for tonight's Real Sim Racing RSR Icebreaker Winter Series. Coming down to it tonight, when we take the green flag, it's just 2 races remaining to determine a Winter Series champion as we get closer and closer to Speed Weeks, and you're watching the action tonight on LSRTV. Good evening, I'm Jacob Seelman, alongside Evan Pasoko as we get set to bring you all the action tonight from Fontana, California. We're not quite in wine country, Evan, but we are at a place where we are seeing blistering lap times, and we're seeing championships either made or broken. And what I've seen so far tonight, David Comstock and Dwayne Vincent in qualifying, the 2 guys who are 1-2 in the championship standings, they're on top of the board, while E.J. O'Rourke, who's the other guy who's been in the championship fight for so much of this season, back on the outskirts of the top 10, and I think we're going to see at least one driver's championship hopes potentially broken tonight here in California.
Yeah, with those top 3 sitting with just 3 points separating them, you come to a track like Auto Club Speedway where it's a 2-mile D-shaped oval. There's very high speeds. Things can go downhill very quickly as we see E.J. O'Rourke go tumbling in these latter stages of the 15-minute open qualifier. You talked about Comstock, Vincent on the top spot. O'Rourke is that 3rd driver in that battle, sitting P8 right now, just a smidge off of where that 20 and 9 sit as they enter tonight. But limiting mistakes, you can't have any anymore. Something that we discussed at the first race. You go into this season with 8 races, you really don't have any opportunity to use a mulligan because you'll get too far behind. At this point, it's way too close to give anything up. Bonus points, I think, are what could decide this championship if nothing goes downhill for these top 3 guys, leading the most laps, getting at least 1 bonus point for leading a lap, winning, getting max points. And oh, by the way, our season finale in 1 week's time, going to be even more emphasis on that because it's going to be double points. So you got to get everything you can out of these next 2 races, but you can't afford a mistake. Simple as that.
Yeah, and here's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that leaving Fontana tonight, Evan, there's at least 2 drivers within 6 points, because you know what that means? Next week at Vegas, it's winner take all.
And that one, again, the double points going under the lights, or rather just going to Las Vegas Motor Speedway, but you got to gamble on that one. It's Vegas, you got to gamble, and it's going to be exciting, and that's something that I really liked about the schedule since they released it. We went to Homestead 1 week ago, so something that is typically reserved for the championship race. So I think mixing that up a little bit with this Icebreaker Winter Series, the drivers are looking forward to it, and it also leaves a window of opportunity open that, we go out of this, and again, top 3 are separated by 3 points. We thought it was close when we went into the race last week, Jacob. We didn't think that they could get any closer. Theoretically, they can only get 1 point closer. We thought, things might have spread out, and the way it all shaked out, these guys are all over each other right now in the championship. However, with that double points means that your mistakes and your achievements are going to be highlighted next week, because something that, may cost you and you be down 5 points could be a couple positions on the racetrack because of the double points, could help you, could hurt you as well. So, haven't really seen that double points be implemented with RSR, so it's going to be very exciting to see that. But first, they have to survive what is quite a grueling race. I guess we can call it 90 laps tonight at the Auto Club Speedway. Daylight, no moon out, the lights are off. So it's a day race, means a hot, slick racetrack, and a lot can happen in that 90-lap period that can throw your championship hopes well off course as qualifying wraps down into its final minute.
Yeah, it does. Checkered flag going in the air this time. I'll throw you something right here. Evan, you talk about this potentially not being able to get any closer. There are a couple of scenarios where all 3 of these guys could actually leave tonight tied going to Las Vegas. I don't know that anybody's planning for that, but boy, would it be fun. And, oh, by the way, we were talking about E.J. O'Rourke being off his other 2 competitors. He just jumped up to 3rd on his final lap. So the championship trio starts tonight 3 points apart, and they're going to start 1, 2, and 3 on the racetrack. Exciting? I think yes.
Yeah, and he was a little bit off in practice, too. Comstock and Vincent were 3rd and 2nd. He was 10th. He was looking like a P8 car, and That's one thing you have to love about the 15-minute open qualifier, Jacob, as opposed to when we sometimes do a 10-minute or 5-minute closed qualifier that you'll see some of the leagues on iRacing do, which is you're out there solo car runs. Because of that, it gave that 23 the ability, and he got that lap when he needed it down in those closing minutes. And like you said, it almost like it was, he couldn't script it better that the top three in the championship are going to be starting this race in the top three with Comstock Vincent on the front row, O'Rourke going to start on the inside of row number 2 and third. Alongside him, Bobby Terrell, another fast driver in that 14 car as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it right now. We'll actually go through the full Gary Mercer Trucking starting grid in just a moment, but you look at this front row, and it basically, the sponsorship matchup looks like a battle for the ages. I mean, Kyle Busch versus Chase Elliott. How many times did we see that in 2014? So it looks good right now. You mentioned him, pole sitter with a lap of 171.1 miles an hour, David Comstock, the Monster Energy Chevrolet on the pole, the Napa Chevrolet, Dwayne Vincent on the outside of the front row. Then you've got E.J. O'Rourke, the gmercer.com number 23 machine starting third, and the Muscle Milk entry, Bobby Terrell, the 14, rolls away outside row number 2 in fourth tonight.
Ronnie Potts, who's able to pick up about 7 spots from practice time, is going to start in the top 5 position on the inside of row 3-6 to the 95 of Ralph Nolan Jr. So far, good run for that Energizer Chevy.
All right, 7th tonight going to be the EcoBoost, number 49. Scott Saunders rolls away in the Rue Motorsports entry P7, and a newcomer to the RSR Icebreaker Reynolds, number 32. Dalton England rolls 8th tonight.
Don Brightsman going to make up row number 5 on the inside in P9, Jacob. 29th fastest in practice. He's a top 10 car right now. Alongside him, teammate, the guy you just talked about, Scott Saunders. The other Rue Motorsports entry, 19 to Garrett Atwell, P10.
11th going to be the Budweiser, number 4, reminiscent of Kevin Harvick. That's Scott Simley in 11th, and is outside the number 55 machine. That's Dan Murray rolling away in the 12th spot tonight.
13th position, and we also have a live feed taking a look at the inside and what he's doing. The driver of the 11, Jonathan Cadell, going to roll from that spot. Alongside him, the 24 of Stefan Baranek, 4th in the championship, about 35 points out of it into the night, is 14th.
15th tonight, going to be the 31. That's Mike Montesi. 16th, the John Abbott in the 10. 17th to the 21 of Matt Lacrosse. And 18th, that 48, a yellow Lowe's machine tonight for Kevin Linden.
Nathan Little, the 41 machine, will roll 19th. 20th position, Brendan Mercer. Jimmy North, 21st position. And Tony Drion through 22nd.
23rd tonight going to be the STP number 43 of Doug Roth, and 24th going to be one of the Miller machines, the Miller Lite number 22 of William Kemp. Then it's the 56 of Wyatt Wolf, 25th and 26th of the 93 of LD Sarabia.
Jamie Pitts, the 71 and 27. 28th, J. Randall Watkins. Final time to put down a time in qualifying. Ed Williams Jr., 29th, and Adam Benefield back in the field tonight, scheduled to start P30, not currently on track.
Oh boy, we'll wait and see. I mean, that's shocking that Benefield, he was fastest in practice. I can't believe he would not be starting from the field. The other provisionals, Jamie Moore, Rich Jett, Joey Jettina, Stephen Herring, and Doug Manning as we roll off turn number 4. And I believe we are just about set to go green flag racing here. Field in the hands of the 20 of David Comstock, coming down to the line. Green flag goes in the air. American Ethanol underway here tonight from Auto Club Speedway, and they're going to try to fan out 2 and 3 wide already down into turn number 1. The teammates are lined up, Evan, but how long do they stay there?
And Comstock going to go to the point. You see the nod of Vincent wanted to drop down in line, gets a good run through 1 and 2, hops back up to the high side is that Napa entry. So off quarter 2 and down to back straightaway. Now once again the 20 machine will be able to be clear. Comstock going to slowly slide up in front of the nod of Dwayne Vincent. Next battle for P3 and pretty much side by side for each spot. And there on back on the bottom it is E.J. O'Rourke, but give it to Muscle Milk entry. Bobby Terrell making that outside lane work. He'll slide in the third, and now the crossover by Dwayne Vincent. He goes to the bottom for the top spot.
Top spot battle, lap number 1. Give it to the 9 of Dwayne Vincent. He takes over the point as they head down into turn number 1. So the Napa Chevrolet to the point. Bobby Terrell's gotten around E.J. O'Rourke for 3rd, and they're single file through about 8th place. First battle is for 9th.
They were 3 wide coming off of 4 as somebody was slotted backwards right there around P9 that you talked about. Right now the Hornet's Nest on track. Everybody else is calm things down for a brief moment, but you see the 19 of Garrett Atwell. He will be past the 47 of Sean Brightsman in front of him, working that outside lane's able to maintain that single file as the 19 tried to make something work down low. Now behind them, next battle, Dan Murray. He's on the attack above him. You got Stefan Marinak, and a bobble by Atwell's going to open up the door, looking to the high side, possibly is Scott Simley, and right there as well, everybody trying to find a way through. Meanwhile, Ralph Nolan Jr., the car that got checked up, started 6th all the way back to 17th.
So we're watching comers and goers already in this field, and you talk about Ralph Nolan back to 17th now. He started off so well, falling off so quickly, and that is that's what you can get sometimes here in these RSR races, Evan. You've got guys who surprise you in the beginning and then fall away. One guy that I'm surprised with is the newcomer, Dalton England, the 32 machine. That McDonald's entry up in 6th right now, and actually making a look to the inside. Ronnie Potts, a big wiggle off turn 4.
And that's going to give the McDonald's machine of Dalton England the advantage down low. Now we have seen passes being made up at a high side. We saw Terrell do it on the start of the race, so you get to see that 6 of Ronnie Potts try to fight back right here in the center of the corner. Gets back to the throttle, but looks like a good corner and sliding up a slide job at a 2-mile D-shaped oval for the 32 of Dalton England. He gets P5 as they cycle at a corner number 2. Nobody in front of him yet battling, as Dwayne Vincent still sits with a car length over David Comstock, but we do have side-by-side for P10. The 24 of Stefan Bernack fighting with the 55. Dan Murray, the axe entry, is stuck up high. Here comes Jonathan Cadell as well.
So as we continue to watch this, and Evan, this is big tonight. You talked about the 11 of Jonathan Cadell. I mean, we've got that onboard camera for him tonight, and that's a little bit revolutionary for us here on LSRTV, actually giving the viewers a look at exactly what these guys go through over the course of the evening, and Cadell being gracious enough to provide us with that feed tonight and trying to move forward, although he's not getting very far at the moment. Started 13th, only up 1 position, and he's already 2.6 seconds behind the leaders. We talk about this draft, we're already starting to see it. It's becoming a 6-car breakaway at the front of the field.
They're trying to scoot on away. They have about 3/4 of a second from 6th all the way through 7th position. Scott Saunders still occupies P7. Started there. That's where he runs right now in that Ford machine, and was 13th fastest in practice, so has a little bit of pickup there. But, I mean, Dwayne Vincent is not getting away from David Comstock. The only change that has separated the top 3 on track from being our top 3 in the standings is Bobby Terrell. He looked like one of the drivers that may have gone in and played spoiler 1 week ago at the Homestead of Miami Speedway. Did not come all the way through to that as the Muscle Milk machine slid off near those latter stages. But other than that, Terrell has been up inside of these fights, whatever he's been on track. We were just talking about Cadell. Next thing we know, another fight for position. He goes to the inside. The 24 of Stefan Marinak has already passed that Ford of Scott Simley. The 11 will as well. He's bringing the 21 of Matt Lacrosse with him. But now the 4 car in the outside wall, trouble for Scott Simley.
Oh, Simley, he's able to save it, it looks like, but that's a big hit for the guy who qualified 11th, practiced inside the top 6. He had fallen back to 15th, Evan, and now the Budweiser machine, the 4, is falling back a little bit further, so really tough break for Simley, and he's one of those guys that I expected to be up front all night tonight, so this is really tough on that crew early.
We know Scott Simley has speed, top 10 car in practice, and it's going to be fun to see what he can do with that damage, or interesting rather, not fun if you're that 4 car, but it's going to be see, what the damage is going to cause because this racetrack, he just talked about the draft, you see the 10 car sliding a little bit wide there in corner 4, that's the 10 of John Abbott, might open up the door for the 56 of Wyatt Wolf, but with this track being one of the most aerodynamic sensitive outside of a plate track, on the the stock car side of things, the 4 car hanging in there pretty good. He kind of got stuck in a fence, and I think it looked a lot worse than it was because that fence kind of grabs onto you and he had to try to fight off it. But that Budweiser machine back down on that inside line where he needs to be going, and already closing in on Dan Murray, who's no slouch in that 55 car. He's chasing down Jimmy North, who had an exceptional run 1 week ago after a season that is plagued with all bad luck. He's 15th from 21st, so already up 6.
Yeah, and we're watching guys trying not to pop the wall. Bobby Terrell, I think, came awful close to popping that wall off turn number 2 the last time by. These guys are getting so close to that safer barrier. I mean, and you got to be careful. If you hit that thing with the right rear quarter panel of this race car, Evan, and you're going to be out to lunch the rest of the race. These cars so aerodynamically sensitive here at the Auto Club Speedway. One little bit of damage, and it's like you throw a parachute on these machines.
We got some battling. The top 6, you said they were trying to pull away. They have done so. Behind them, still right around that outside of the top 10 as it has been all race long. A whole lot going on track. We saw John Abbott was in the middle of a lot of traffic those last few times around. We were just fighting for 10th. For the moment, they single file things out, but one of the cars that is continuing to try to make moves in this is Cadell now, all over the back bumper of that 55 at Dan Murray, but that 4 is coming with him. Scott Simley, again, working the damage that we thought could have really hurt his car, seems to be able to maintain the speed that he had before. However, did lose that track position, which is obviously something that he's going to have to look through and, try to fight back on through this race. 31 cars are on track out of the about 35 or 36 that were scheduled to start this one, so a pretty large field, but the top 6 check it out, and they're all riding single file right now. Nobody pressing the issue at the moment. Wayne Vincent still leads. Comstock, Terrell, O'Rourke, England, and Potts are those top 6 cars right now that sit about a second to the good over Garrett Atwell, who kind of has a little bit of a breathing room before he gets back to Sean Brightsman and then his teammate Scott Saunders, who's fighting side by side Stefan Marinac on the inside. That battle for P9, 49 with the advantage, but Marinac will have the bottom in 1 and 2. We'll see if he can work it in the safe racer entry.
That is a look at the top 10 right now, as we are already more than 10% of the way through this race, working 11 of 90 laps complete here at the Auto Club Speedway. The Napa entry took the lead on the opening lap and has led all the laps so far, so it's Dwayne Vincent ahead of David Comstock, and we're going to slide in an early break here, but you won't miss a thing. We'll go side by side on LSRTV and be back with more from Fontana, California in just a moment. You're watching LSRTV and the RSR Icebreaker Winter Series.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but it can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Fontana, California. It's the RSR Icebreaker Winter Series here on LSRTV. Jacob Seelman and Evan Pasoko in the broadcast booth. Justin Rosenau down on pit road. We'll get to him shortly, but Evan, right now, what we've been watching early on in the going here in the West Coast country of California is a clinic by the Napa Chevrolet. Dwayne Vincent put it on the early race show. He got to the lead on the opening lap and basically has told David Comstock, if he wants the lead, come and get it.
Yeah, when we left, everybody in the top six was playing nice. They were all single file, but a car length, 2 car lengths separating them. Now we're starting to fan out as we hit 17 laps in to this opening green flag stint. Vincent's good by about half a second back to Comstock, who has some ground on the battle for P3. You mentioned a newcomer, the McDonald's entry, the 32 of Dalton, England, started 8th position. He wants 3rd, and he's fighting with Bobby Terrell. Terrell definitely knows his way around these B cars, racing asphalt to solid, as well as the Icebreaker Winter Series, and always a title contender in both. Not an easy task for somebody to come in their first race, and he just put the pass on him. So move Dalton England up to a top 3 spot. That's going to slide Terrell back into P4. O'Rourke now in 5th position, sliding back a little bit is that gmercer.com number 23 Chevrolet entry in front of Ronnie Potts. That is still the top 6. They still have a gap over Garrett Atwell on back, but really starting to fan out. Before we went away, they're about 0.8 of a second between 1st through 6th, and now fanning out to nearly 2 seconds between all of these guys up front. So as this green flag, we got somebody spinning in 2. Saving it, Jimmy North is all over the 84 car. Sideways, he's around, caution's out, and he had some help on that one. He's going to lock it up, come to a stop up on the high side of the banking in turn 2, but Jimmy North had some help, and it looked like it was the 31 of Mike Montesi.
Yeah, I think Montesi got into him just a little bit there, trying to make that move for about 14th position. See the replay right now, Evan. It's all it takes is that tiny little bit of contact, and around went Jimmy North from 14th position. Tough break for that 84 machine.
Yeah, the 31 trying to make that inside move, obviously trying to get the position. They were side by side in front of them, and you could argue that either way, that the 31 didn't make that dive into the quarter as early as he should have, or Jimmy came down a little bit. He was all the way up against the fence by the time they got into the corner. It was just a tap, and I caught it out of the corner of my eye. I was going to talk about Cadell fighting with that 95 car, and he had saved it once. Couldn't save it twice, though. Good news is, though, he locked it up. He did not put it in the fence. Nobody else came by and hit him. Everybody else went low. He does get front-end damage from that exchange, so that's going to cost him a quick fix. He'll have to get that repaired after... we jinxed it. We said he had a great run 1 week ago at Homestead after really pitiful luck all season long, and was moving forward in this one again and just finds himself in a bad situation, and that does trigger our first caution flag on lap 18. So 18 laps strong into this opening stint of the race. Nearly a quarter of tonight's 90 lap at 180-mile affair off the board as we come down pit road for the first time.
Alrighty, so cars down on pit road, and with that going to bring in the 3rd member of our broadcast crew tonight as the 9 of Dwayne Vincent, the 20 of David Comstock lead everybody down to pit road. And Justin Rosenau, you're down there. We're going to watch the leaders hit pit road, and it's going to be a battle. We've seen it all season long. Actually, Doug Roth staying out, I think, to assume the point, but everybody else down there your way.
Dalton England in the 32 McDonald Chevy coming in for his box right there. Looks like he's taken 4 tires, right sides up on the car. 2 Goodyear tires on the right side, put the right side back down. Left side's going up, putting 2 more Goodyear tires on that McDonald's machine. As for your leader, Dwayne Vincent in the Napa Chevy, he took 4 tires all the way around, and it's a hot rod race off pit road, and I think Dalton England beat the 9 of Dwayne Vincent off of pit road.
14.3 on the clock for Dalton England, and the rookie in his first RSR start goes to the point at Fontana. Didn't think I'd be saying that tonight, Evan.
He can drive, you can't argue that. And, typically Comstock, you would imagine, Jacob, and, not so much at Auto Club where that scoring line is, but there's some other tracks where it really gives a lot of benefit to that guy that gets pole, because he's going to be on that number 1 pit stall down at the end of pit road, and he's going to be able to beat a lot of the guys off pit road, and he doesn't have to get up to full speed before he crosses that timing loop. So you would imagine that 32 at Dalton England, out of those 3 cars, would be at the most of a disadvantage, because he was the first one to have to hit his stall. So great in and out by that 32. He'll go to the point. One car has stayed out behind a pace car, the 47 of Sean Breitzman, as well. I see the 71, the 10 of John Abbott, a couple of takers. Doug Roth will lead them back down. The STP entry, the 43, is going to be the one that actually is able to stay out, get that bonus point for leading a lap, which I guess is a topic we can discuss, that Dwayne Vincent with bonus points, leading a lap as well. Leading the most laps is crucial, and so far the 9 car in that 3-car battle for the championship is leading that fight.
So as we continue to watch Circulate Under Caution, we're now 20 laps in, and Evan, let's take a look down the leaderboard right now for a minute, because as everything cycles through, Roth to the pit lane, and Dalton England will officially assume the point here at Fontana over Dwayne Vincent. Doug Roth going to be scored third, but we know he won't stay there. That should go David Comstock third, Bobby Terrell fourth, E.J. O'Rourke rounding out the top 5 as they run. So O'Rourke has not lost touch with his 2 championship rivals, but this is about what I expected from that 23 team. They've been there, but they've not been at the level that the 9 and the 20 have been to contend for this championship in the final stretch.
We talked about the same thing 1 week ago at Homestead, when the fact that we saw Dwayne Vincent and David Comstock. They finished 1-2 with Vincent going to victory lane and picking up the 48-point maximum on that one, which was crucial for him being able to lead coming into this one. But, E.J. O'Rourke still gets a P4 finish. It was the Bobby Terrell entry who was the spoiler in that, taking a number 3 position. But O'Rourke has just been slightly off it. It's just the slightest bit. And again, the same thing tonight. Again, not necessarily on point with Vincent or Comstock, but still in that mix to the point where if things get shuffled up late in this race, even if we get a long green flag run, who knows how the tire conservation will go in that regard, still in the mix in this race. But the biggest thing is those bonus points when these guys, and so far they're not showing any signs of slowing down, Jacob. We're critiquing E.J. O'Rourke for running in a top 5 spot, and it's amazing that you can run top 5 and you're going to be losing points and the top 2 guys in front of you in the championship standings. But with things being that close, Dalton England going to the point, that means Dwayne Vincent so far wants to be, or he has rather, led the most laps, so that's got the bonus points for now. But if that 32 runs away, Dwayne does not want to let Dalton England. He can't just be concerned on keeping David Comstock behind him, keeping E.J. O'Rourke behind him as the lights go on to pace car. He needs to make sure that that 32 McDonald's machine does not take away those bonus points from him if he's able to get out front of this and run away with the race, because that could be crucial. Again, every point matters, especially with a double points race next week.
Yeah, did we mention they were only separated by 3 points coming in? If we didn't, we'll mention it again. They were only separated by 3 points coming into tonight. And right now, I believe, Evan, it would be, I think it would be a deadlock atop the standings the way it's looking right now. This is going to be dicey, and it's going to be fun all the way through to the end. Of course, we've still got 68 laps to go when we get the green flag. So we got McDonald's, Napa, and Monster up at the front of this field. At least 2 of those are making me hungry. So we need to get back to racing quickly before this digresses too far. iRacing, Ford first, Mustang pace car makes the hard left turn to pit road. Dalton England, the rookie, leads the field back to the green flag. The 32 on point, green flag in the air. We're back to racing here at Auto Club Speedway. Great jump by England. He'll grab the top spot headed to turn number 1. The battle's going to be between the championship leaders as they're trying to go 3 wide down into turn 1. That's Atwell taking the look to the inside. Oh! And Terrell saves it. No,
Yeah, they're trying to get around him, though. Big pack, 4 wide now, trying to split him. 62 ran out of room on that. Rich Jet's got to check way up. That's going to cost him about 5-6 spots as Terrell keeps it going. He hung on to it, but that got real close once again. Now 3 wide behind him. Everybody's still trying to get sorted out from this. A lot of people shuffling around the racetrack in 3 and 4.
I think my heart just stopped for a second, Evan. That was, oh, wow. They're tight off turn number 4. I thought my heart stopped during the Bobby Terrell incident.
Dalton England. Again.
Yeah. They need to settle this out quick before there's no nerves left here in this TV tower. England leads it. He got super close to the wall up off turn number 4. About smacked it with that right rear quarter. Now it's the battle for the lead off turn number 2. David Comstock taking a look down the long back straightaway. Got a big run to the inside, trying to use that side draft. The Monster Chevrolet to the inside. He wants the lead for the first time, and they're going to clothesline Dalton England to the high side. Vincent goes through. Comstock to the lead here at lap number 24. Oh, wow. Vincent trying to hang on. That's the battle for second, but it's Comstock who gets away with the lead.
These cars in this racetrack as well, combo them together, and momentum is a hell of a thing and you need it. And I think Vincent, he gave a shot to Comstock at a corner and was going to try to slide up in between the 20 and the 32. Felt like Dalton England had just the nose on him and had to give it that little bit more wheel, nearly spun himself out, checked up, was able to hang on to it. 32 got clear and made easy work of that through 1 and 2. So the 9 Napa machine back to P2. The top 3, though, gone in comparison to everybody else who had to scramble to get around all of that was happening with the 14 machine of Bobby Terrell. EJ O'Rourke to slide back up to P4. He's only 1 second off. Then you got Garrett Atwell, William Kemp, the 22, right there all over the 6 of Ronnie Pons, who just made a move on him for P6. He wants it back. You got Marinette, Cadell, everybody else fighting, but this is right in that range where they were 2, 3, 4 wide at times. Looks like everybody's starting to get things settled back out as they slot back at the lines where they should be as we look forward to another green flag run in this. But the top 3, again, though, not giving up any room on each other, only a car length separate them perfectly down the back straightaway. This time, though, the Monster Energy machine picking up a bonus point for leading the lap and wants to log a few of them in P1, as Vincent, though, does not want to let that happen. That 9 car really digging in 3 and 4.
He is digging. That is the battle for the lead once again, and I mean literally in Comstock's tire tracks is the Napa Chevrolet. They are bumper to bumper coming down to the start-finish line, and now the look to the inside. Battle for the lead in turn number 1. Vincent takes it down to the apron, almost through that first corner. The Napa Chevrolet pokes the nose out in front. He's going to have about a car length advantage off turn number 2. Slides up. Does he clear him? Not quite. The run down the back straightaway now favors the Monster Energy machine. So Comstock poking the nose back in front, and we got a caution. Trouble on the racetrack.
LD Sarabia, the 93 Texaco Chevrolet, around in the outside wall, trying to avoid him. Jamie Pitts, heavy contact as the 71 with nowhere to go, and the caution will fly as we were neck and neck for the top spot. It was just a bobble. You'll see the replay. The 93 got a little bit sideways, had to move the wheel to the right, stepped it up the hill, spun out behind him. Nowhere to go. The 31 with an excellent job of getting around that one, ducking low, so a spectacular wreck avoidance on behalf of the 31 car there. Mike Montesi should have been in the door of that 93 car, but the 93 got sideways out of 2, came down. He just clipped that 21, ended up in the fence, and then again a couple cars coming through this, the 71 involved.
So we're under caution now for the second time. I mean, we were so good in this early run, got basically 20 laps in before our first caution of the race, and now we've had 2 in the last 10 laps, Evan, and, you know, we're talking about this already. Turn 2's starting to become Calamity Corner.
Yeah, we talk about the fact that it's not under the lights, it is a day race, so the track's a little bit hot, a little bit slick, but I mean, you look at the track facts at this Auto Club Speedway, you look at the banking, it does sit at 14 degrees in the corners. It is very wide. We saw that it was very evident when we were going 3-4 wide off of that most recent restart, but you got to throw it down to the bottom, and you're trying to get whatever you can out of it. Again, these race cars, very momentum based. This racetrack very much so playing into that factor as well. Very easy to overshoot that corner, and you know, once you do, there's really not a lot that you can do. Essentially, that was the same thing that Dwayne Vincent nearly did to himself. The 9 was able to hang on, unfortunately unable to hang on in that most recent incident at a 2 that does trigger the yellow, but we do come back down pit road led by David Comstock.
Leaders are in, Justin. I imagine we're not going to see a whole lot of 4-tire changes right now. We know this surface a little less abrasive than some, but everybody coming back in for service.
The 20 Chevy machine, the Monster machine, pulls off a pit row with just 2 tires. So does the 14 of Bobby Terrell. The 9 of Dwayne Vincent in his Napa Chevy pulls off pit road in about 4th or so in line there with 4 Goodyear tires and a full tank of that Sunoco race fuel.
So under caution, here lap 29 going to go in the books when they get back to the line. 4 tires on the 9 of Dwayne Vincent. David Comstock, Bobby Terrell, I believe, only have 2. So we're going to see how tire strategy really does shake things up. Matt Lacrosse actually staying out in the number 21 machine, so he will assume the head of the line, but under caution for the second time. Gonna give us pause to step aside for a moment here on LSR TV, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more from the Auto Club Speedway and the RSR Icebreaker Winter Series in just a moment. Welcome back to LSR TV, the RSR Icebreaker Winter Series, live from the Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California. Jacob Seelman, Evan Pasoko up top. And Evan, as we get ready to go back to green flag racing, it's going to be without one of the key players that was in the battle in the top five, Dalton England, the McDonald's number 32 machine. Very slow stop on pit road. He only took 2 tires, but a 14.8 second pit stop lines him up going to be 12th for this race. Sorry, he did take 4 tires. I can do math some days, but 14.8 lines him up 12th for this restart on the outside with really nowhere to go. This is not going to be good for that 32 machine.
And we know he's fast, so he's not going to waste a lot of time trying to capitalize on this restart to get back up through the field. Another car that nearly had an issue, the 19 of Garrett Atwell, overshot his stall, had to back it up, only took 2 tires, so finds himself in P4. But now we're really going to see how important tires are. We got 2, we got none, and we got 4.
It's going to be good as we, this is going to be very interesting, actually. We're about to see how much tires are really worth as LD Sarabia takes his number 93 machine behind the wall, so his night going to be over. Meanwhile, the iRacing Ford First Mustang pace car heads for the safety of pit lane. Field in the hands of Matt Lacrosse. American Ethanol green flag waves one more time. Lacrosse to the point. Comstock going to fall in for second, but for how long? Garrett Atwell's on the outside of the racetrack trying to go to third. They're stacking up 2 wide, 3 wide behind them, down to turn number 1. They've got to sort it out somehow, and they're back to 2 deep.
In this one, although they're still 2 wide, about 5-6 rows deep there mid-pack, a lot calmer than the last one, as everybody at least has the back end of the car underneath themselves. Battle for the lead will go in favor of the 20, David Comstock. The 21, who stayed out, took nothing. That's the Matt Lacrosse entry, sliding back on a high slide. Everybody going low on him. The 14 of Terrell slides through to second. Wayne Vincent, third, and now the 21 Hardin defense. That's going to check up, not enough room. 24 grazes him, and Hardin the outside wall now and well off the pace. Big damage for Matt Lacrosse as everybody scatters around him down on the bottom. No caution, and a huge hit for the quick car entry.
And that wasn't just a scatter. That was almost full-blown disaster, Evan. Everybody's lucky to get away from that without a caution, and what it really did was helped out that 32 car immensely. England was able to jump about 5 cars, go to 7th, battling for 6th side by side with the 49 of Scott Saunders. The EcoBoost machine down into turn number 3. They're side by side, wheel to wheel just ahead of them. The 23 of EJ O'Rourke making a move on Garrett Atwell.
And O'Rourke, you see, try to hang on. The 19 of Atwell going to the bottom, finding a way through in front of them now. Battle for the top spot. Here comes Bobby, as he's known in the garage, the Muscle Milk entry. Bobby Terrell to the bottom, the 9 machine right there as well. Dwayne Vincent, 3-car fight for the top spot, but now Comstock is fighting back up on the high side. But here we see Dwayne Vincent. Let's see how good those 4 tires are. And now EJ O'Rourke
they're
back
4 wide, car in the wall back straight away. About 2 of them get
Jimmy
together.
Around the 55, spinning up in front of traffic. Huge hit. Brendan Mercer, John Abbott, big junk.
And that's the caution flag. It started the 21 machine. Matt Lacrosse, his side was pancaked, and beyond that, Evan, it was just a madhouse scramble, and Jimmy North getting the worst of that in the 84, but that was disastrous down the back straightaway. Caution out lap 34.
I told you that Dalton England would not wait around, and he was trying to get back up there. He was right in the middle of that mix. Replays up now. The 19, though, getting loose on the bottom. That is the 19 machine entry that was riding along. Garrett Atwell slides up and gets into his teammate, Jacob. Slides up into the 49 of Saunders. That gets that 49 well out of control. The 19's able to hang on, but the 49 ends up in the fence, and he tried to get it off the fence because, again, when you get the wall, you kind of get stuck in it. Tried to get it off the fence, came down. He hooked Jimmy North around, who's going to be in his second incident. North went down. He hit the 55, and, they came spinning back up. It was nearly a heroic move on behalf of the 10 of John Abbott, trying to drift his way through. He ended up in the fence, got clipped again at about 6-7 plus cars involved in that one down the back straightaway. Garrett Atwell does claim responsibility for that one over the radio, so that will send him to the back of the pack once we get everybody sorted up, everything cleaned up, and back under green flag conditions for the next restart.
Yeah, and the leaders are going to be headed to pit road. Justin down to you and Bobby. Oh, well, they just faked everybody out. Terrell down pit road. Dalton England down pit road. Comstock stays out. Vincent stays out. O'Rourke stays out. I think that's Ronnie Potts that stays out. So here's the shuffle. Justin, I'll throw it to you, to the guys who did come down pit road.
Waiting for the Muscle Milk Chevrolet machine of Bobby Terrell to pull into his pit stall down towards the end of pit road. Also watching for the 32 McDonald's machine of Dalton England. Dalton England into his box. Right side's going up on the 32 McDonald's machine. 2 Goodyear tires on the right side. Waiting for the left side to go up. Dalton England taking 4 tires on the McDonald machine. Back to the Muscle Milk machine of Bobby Terrell. 4 Goodyear tires. Full tank of Sunoco race fuel. He's down and away in about 14.2 seconds or so. He's going to be the first of the guys coming off of pit road.
Hearing Dalton England may be a little bit slow on that in a 16.5, so that would be back-to-back times that he came in down pit road, and with a costly stop time-wise. We do have a split, though, on the drivers that came down pit road, those that stayed out. We saw how well Dwayne Vincent was able to fight through. Now, albeit only 2 laps or so that we got off of that last restart, but with those 4 tires, the Napa entry already up to second position. He finds himself right behind the 20 of David Comstock. He'll restart alongside that Monster Energy entry when this next restart comes up. Comstock, on the last time he came down sitting on 2. Dwayne Vincent, in theory, in a catbird seat in this situation on 4. And again, these two fighting for the top spot, fighting for the championship. But again, they want to get those most laps led because those could come down to the bonus points that may decide this race. So far, that goes in favor of the 9 car. But David Comstock, we know that if he's able to get out front in clean air, that Monster Energy machine can really check out. So Dwayne Vincent's not going to make it easy on him. And once again, we return to seeing the top 3 on track, the top 3 in the championship, which seems like a little bit of deja vu from Homestead.
Yeah, a little bit of deja vu, I think, is right, Evan. But this is great for the series, for the viewers, and even for these drivers, because Dwayne said after Homestead he wanted this to be a all-out battle down to the end. And I'll tell you right now, these 3 are putting on a show, and they're making sure that this points battle is going to be within about 5 or 6 points headed to Las Vegas.
As they sit right now, we've seen a couple of drivers, though, and one that has to jump to mind, and it's been tough luck for GP North. Caught up in 2 incidents tonight. That can easily happen to one of these guys that are fighting for the championship again as well. Now, you hope that, again, we talk about, and we discussed it last week, Jacob, that although this is so close, the fact that in auto racing and in the NASCAR style leagues, there's not, we're not setting down this field to just these 3 guys. Again, if we exit tonight and they're able to get a decent gap over Stefan Marinak, who sits 6th, everybody else could be mathematically eliminated. I believe that the 24 would still be in it, but it would take quite a Hail Mary at Las Vegas in 1 week's time. But they just got to be strong. But something can always happen when you have 33 guys or 30-plus cars out there that aren't in an immediate position to be a part of the championship battle. But every time they're in between these guys, every time they're out there on track shuffling up the positions, tossing around the bonus points, even playing a spoiler like we saw Bobby Terrell, who split up those guys sitting 2nd and then all the way through 4th position 1 week ago, where he separated Vincent and Comstock, who was able to walk away with a P4. All of these different things can come to effect, but again, you're going in upwards of 180 miles an hour in these cars at this 2-mile racetrack. Anything can happen, and your championship hopes could go away literally in the blink of an eye. And that's why these restarts, when you're going 3-4 wide, you got guys digging onto the bottom knowing that they might get loose and come up the hill on you. It's very crucial times in this race to just hope that it's not going to happen. Sometimes you can control it, sometimes you have an opportunity to get around it, but sometimes there's just no way around the way that these things happen.
Sometimes there's not, kind of like we just saw with that incident. So we'll wait and see how it all shakes out. Right now, I do know this. We are going to go back to green flag racing in a moment. 7 laps away from the halfway point of this race. We'll have 38 in the books and be down to about 52 to go. So, Evan, though apparently I can't do math between 2 tires and 4 tires, those common core skills that they're teaching you must be apparently good for something, because I can at least get 90 laps in this race.
Yeah, this restart's going to be crucial, because we saw 2 of them ago. We were 4 wide the last time. I mean, hey, we were calm. We were only 2 wide, but we'll have to see how this shakes out. 20 cars still on the lead lap right now. We're just past a third of the way through this race, and Comstock is going to be in control on this one in the Monster Energy machine, so we'll have to see how it works out.
And we'll see how it works out in just a moment as the iRacing Ford First Mustang pace car heads for the pit lane, leaves the field in the hands of David Comstock, coming down to the line. Green flag goes back in the air. Comstock, wow, terrible start for the Napa Chevrolet of Dwayne Vincent. He absolutely does not go. That allows Comstock and O'Rourke to take the top 2 positions as they're trying to go 2 and 3 wide behind the race leader, Dalton England, down to the bottom in turn 1.
He's digging, trying to find a spot, and he's following that 14 to Bobby Terrell through Stefan Marinak just in front of them. He was able to make a move at the bottom lane, get in front of Ronnie Potts, which was for P4. Now Terrell wants to take 5th away from number 6 to the 32, make it 3 wide. Thought about it and had to check up as they went back down to the quarter number 3, so 32 now slides to the bottom. We saw a little bit of high side action on the opening laps, but right now looks like the bottom is the place to be. That's where Terrell gets the job done, and England trying to make up for lost ground, already back to a top 10 spot. So although pit road's killing him, he's going to have to limit those mistakes. We know he's got a fast machine. He just needs to run a solid, what going to be the next time by. 50 laps left to go in this race, and he could be a challenger for those top spots.
Yeah, how soon we get to 50 laps to go, the problem is it's going to be a long 50 laps because there's still a lot of action. Dwayne Vincent now back around E.J. O'Rourke for that 2nd position, meaning that the Napa Chevrolet is going to give chase to the Monster Energy Chevrolet, and we'll see this is the same battle that we saw a week ago in Homestead, Evan. These 2, Vincent and Comstock, have literally been at each other's wheel wells this entire championship battle, virtually week after week after week after week, and they're only separated by a car length on track here. There's nobody been better than these 2 in this winter series, and they're proving why again tonight. They've combined to lead all but a couple of laps so far this evening.
And you see that 9, he's closing it in. We mentioned the draft earlier, so that obviously playing into account, but you can catch somebody passing them is a different thing. You need to get the inside position, though, I feel, going down into a corner, but once you pass that guy, nothing saying, and we saw the 9 car do it early in the race. Somebody pull a crossover on you off the corner. You see the 20 slides high, the 9 goes to the bottom, sideways is David Comstock, back end, step down a little bit. That's the bobble that the 9 car needed. Neck and neck at the stripe. Give it to Dwayne Vincent, and now it's going to be a dead heat for the top spot. This will slow these guys down just a little bit, actually. The 9 is going to be clear by the time we get to 1. So E.J. O'Rourke now the closest one to David Comstock. He wants to slide in the second.
Problem is for Dwayne Vincent, he has 4 fresher tires. Comstock's right sides, they've got about 15 more laps on them, Evan, than do the 9 machine. Sorry, left side tires have about 15 more laps on them. Got fresher right sides last time he was down on pit road. So the tire wear factor coming into play again. Vincent back to the point here with now 42 laps complete, and Comstock, it's going to be a question of how long those left side tires can hold on here at Fontana, because quickly that 20 machine falls back. Then it's a 2-horse race in this championship battle if Comstock can't stay up there.
I'll tell you, that McDonald's machine, though, may be the fastest thing on track, because Dalton England has just slotted into P5, and he'll be chasing down Bobby Terrell here very shortly as he continues to move forward through this field. Right behind them, they were just side by side with the 6 and the 32. You see that 11 machine squeezed there in the middle. Behind him, the 47 is Sean Preitzman, but that's Jonathan Cadell as the 47 sideways. The 6 car is sideways as well, and our honorary in-race reporter, if you haven't checked it out, if you're just tuning in, click on that secondary link. You can take a look at Jonathan Cadell, what he sees and what he's doing behind the wheel on our onboard camera that's available tonight. That machine, the AMSOIL entry, moving forward, he's going to take a top 6 spot.
Yeah, Cadell is coming to the front. Started 13th, up to 6th, and right now that 11 machine looks very, very sporty out there on the racetrack. It's a 5-car freight train, though, at the front of this field, and if Bobby Terrell's got his way, it's going to be a battle in just a minute. The Muscle Milk number 14 is coming to the back bumper of E.J. O'Rourke, and he's taking a peek down to the inside. O'Rourke throws the block on him down to the apron. They are literally about a tire width away from the grass, Evan. They're using up every inch of this Auto Club Speedway.
You look at that for the top spot. Dwayne Vincent all the way down to that grass as that 20 thought about finding the way through and pretty much just looked out the rear view mirror there that whole time until they had to hit that braking point, checking up going into quarter 1. That slows Comstock down, nearly gets turned, the 23. Very small contact, a little bit of a bobble by David Comstock, but now back to square 1. This is what we saw in the opening 5-10 laps of this race. It was the top 6 at that point, but right now the top 5 are all over each other.
Halfway this time by as we complete 45 of 90 laps. The cross flags are out, and it's Dwayne Vincent leading David Comstock. The battle for third between E.J. O'Rourke and Bobby Terrell. Dalton England, the 32, rounds out the top 5 as we'll take you right down the Gary Mercer Trucking mid-race leaderboard. Jonathan Cadell 6th and closing 7th to Ronnie Potts. 8th now to Stefan Marinak. 9th to the STP machine. Doug Roth up 14 spots, and rounding out the top 10, it's Sean Breitzman.
Here at Atwell, the 19 machine sits 11th. 12th to Scott Simley. Got Kevin Linden back 13th position. That's the low century. 14th to Nathan Little. William Kemp back 15th position to Miller Light Ford. 16th, Ed Williams Jr. Wyatt Wolf up from 25th. He's 17th right now in the 56 car. 18th to Matt Lacrosse. John Abbott, last car in the lead lap at 19th position. And right now P20 and Lucky Dog spot, the 98 machine of Stephen Herring. 21st to 49 of Scott Saunders. He is 1 lap down and is down pit road. Still trying to get service done to that machine. 22nd position, Ralph Nolan Jr. Brennan Mercer, the 29 car, down as well. He is out from that machine, no longer behind the wheel in 23rd. 24th, Dan Murray. So all of these cars are essentially out of the race. Jimmy North, Rich Jett, Mike Montesi, LT Sarabia, Jamie Pitts, Tony Trion, and Doug Manning will round out our 31 car field at the moment, but it is a mad dash for third on back right now, occupied by E.J. O'Rourke, but that 32 is coming. Went to the bottom on that 14 of Bobby Terrell just laps ago, now on the high side as the Muscle Milk Chevrolet fights back. This one going through 1 and 2, and the 14 going to bring that 32 all the way up the defense. It's for fourth.
Yeah, that's for fourth, and England is trying to make a lane on that high side of the racetrack. Bobby Terrell not wanting to give him any heed, and I'll tell you, he's learning quickly. He ducks back in line for now, trying to see if maybe that crossover lane will work. Go to the bottom. He's a little bit loose off turn number 4. Drops right in the draft to that 14 of Bobby Terrell. So it's Muscle Milk and McDonald's, Evan. You've got the healthy sponsor versus fast food. I'm not sure how this is going to turn out.
Bobby will tell you that the Muscle Milk Machine's going to win this battle because he sits fourth, but there has been no car on track faster than that 32. We talked about his pit road mishaps, back-to-back times, lost positions, dropped outside of the top 10 after working up after starting 8th all race long, already to P4, just laps off of the restart. So his machine is flying. Terrell has been able to get that P4 spot back from him, but now we see exactly like we did at the start of the race. The 9 is slowly pulling away from David Comstock. Now, the gap's about 2.5, 3 car lengths, not saying much considering a small bobble could erase that at a moment's notice, but he is slowly trying to gain a little bit of ground on that Monster Energy entry. O'Rourke's still in third, but he's under attack because Terrell is not settling. He figures the best way to get away from the 32 is to put a car between him and Dalton England. He goes to the inside on EJ O'Rourke, and England's going with him, the 32 car, to the bottom 3 wide for a moment at a 2 for P3.
They were trying to go 3 wide, weren't they? And that's not going to work now. Dalton England surges to the bottom of the racetrack. He wants a lane on the 14 of Bobby Terrell. The McDonald's entry to the inside of the racetrack off turn number 4. And the Rapid rookie is coming to the front. England to the inside, and hello, Jonathan Cadell. It's now a 6-car battle for the top spot as Vincent and Comstock are trying to pull away, but this battle for third, at least right now, not falling back too far. Evan and Dalton England putting on a show.
Yeah, Cadell sitting in the wings right here. He's got a nice view at it. The 23 machine with a good run off the corner. Tries to find a spot in the middle. No room there. Goes to the bottom. Does the 32 make a defensive move? No. He'll leave the opportunity. He thought about it, and now dropping back in line after possibly making it 3 wide as EJ O'Rourke. They still fight, though, the 14 and that number 32 car. Becoming closely acquainted here, although it's the 32's first start. They already know each other quite well as they continue to fight, and England going to get the upper hand on that one. Crossover by O'Rourke to the bottom. He once again wants to take the spot, so these 3 cars continuing to shuffle things up. Now, what happens when you ride side by side? You're a lot slower. All of a sudden, they're a second away from the top 2 who have just checked out at a moment's notice. Those last 2 laps have allowed Dwayne Vincent and David Comstock, who are only separated once again by 2/10 and about 1.5 car lengths. They're a second to the good. Over now, third place, Dalton England, EJ O'Rourke, and fourth, Bobby Terrell, the 5th, but not for long. Here comes Jonathan Cadell, trying to get a top 5 spot for the first time tonight.
Oh, but how quickly that will change, Evan, because you watch. This is one of the only tracks on the circuit that's not a restrictor plate track where you will see the draft come into play like no other. You watch, about 4 laps from now, it's going to be a 6-car freight train again, and well, I thought you were going to see it that time by, but England actually lost a tiny bit of time as trying to get that draft off David Comstock. Now he'll settle in right, following basically in the tire tracks of the Monster Energy machine. But I'll tell you, if these 2 get to battling up at the front of the field, that's another way they'll catch up in a hurry. Comstock took a peek to the inside. No dice there that time around. We're going to be 53 laps into this one, and Evan, I say it's about high time we take a look all the way down the Gary Mercer Trucking leaderboard here with about 37 laps to go.
Yeah, Vincent still sits up top, and well, I said he was pulled away from Comstock. Forget about that. Look at the move at the bottom. To the 20 car goes David Comstock, so we're going to fight it out for the top spot. This is what Dalton England wants to see. He wants to see these guys fight it out for at least 1-2 laps. We can make up for that second that he lost. It was 97/100, so just about a 1/10 of a second back from third up to the top 2 spots right now. But now that Vincent and Comstock are fighting right now, I'm going to cover this battle for the lead. If they continue to fight, the longer they do, it's going to allow Dalton England to benefit just like he was on the losing end of that side-by-side battle when he was the one trying to make passes. The 20 car with the advantage in the middle of the corner. The 9 had the advantage going into the 3, and he's going to get that little bit of a run coming off the bank, get up on the high side. But David Comstock does have it at the start-finish line by half a car length. Would imagine he'd get cleared. The question is, does that 9 car throw a crossover on him, which we saw earlier in the race, or does he just try to stick it to the high side? Still at it in corners 1 and 2. Now the 20 is clear. Backing up the corner is Dwayne Vincent. Does he have anything for him on exit? No. Beautiful pass by David Comstock, and he now owns P1.
Yeah, Evan, you're seeing what my tongue goes through on a nightly basis now. So we are 54 laps, going to be 55 complete when we get back to the line, and we'll try this one more time as we look down the leaderboard with 35 laps to go. David Comstock leads. Dwayne Vincent just got the lead back a lap ago. Dalton England rebounding all the way up to third. The rookie, E.J. O'Rourke in fourth, and Jonathan Cadell rounding out the top five. Then it's Bobby Terrell in sixth. Can't believe he's fallen so far already. Ronnie Potts in seventh. Sean Brightsman, the 47 machine, up to 8th. Doug Roth, a great drive to 9th, and rounding out the top 10, the Rue Motorsports 19 is of Garrett Atwell.
And Stefan Beranek all over the two of them, the 43 slow, so that 24 who scored 11 looks to pick up a spot as Doug Roth losing a little bit of time. He'll lose 2 spots, so he'll slide back to 11th. 12th position, Scott Simley. Nathan Little, the 41 machine, kind of in no man's land right now. Nobody in front of him for 2 seconds, nobody back for 2 seconds. Sits 13th position. Kevin Linden, the 14th position. 15 to Wyatt Wolf. Behind them, side by side, the 22 and the 65. Give Ed Williams Jr. 16th. 17th will go to William Kemp. Matt Lacrosse at 18th. Last car on the lead lap in 19th position is the John Abbott entry, and P20 right now, 1 lap down. The only car 1 lap down and would be in contention to get a wave around the lucky dog spot, wherever you call it, if we were to get a caution, is Stephen Herring.
Yeah, Ralph Nolan Jr., the 95, sits 21st. He's 3 laps down. The rest of these guys behind the wall, they've pretty much parked it at this. Scott Saunders, 22nd. 23rd, Brennan Mercer. 24th to Dan Murray. 25th, Jimmy North. 26th to Rich Jett. 27th is Mike Montesi. 28th, LD Sarabia. 29th to Jamie Pitts, and 30th to Tony Drion. Doug Manning, shotgun on the 31 cars who took the green flag. That caution early on in this race pretty much doomed the 51's hopes. But up front now again, Evan. Great battle for the lead shaping up. The 3-car freight train is back together again. Comstock's leading the party, but I'll tell you, the rapid rookie Dalton England is coming to the front in a hurry.
He's picked up 5 spots since the restart and is still moving forward. And when we went side by side for the top spot and Comstock was able to make the pass on Dwayne Vincent, that's what allowed England to be able to close into the point where he can really now utilize that draft off of the 9-car of Dwayne, who sits right there in P2. A little bit of a slow exit at a 4 for the England machine, but was 11th fastest in practice, qualified 8th, and we've only seen him go forward out there on the track. The only time he's been losing positions is on pit road. We talk about limiting mistakes for our leaders, for the guys in the championship. If the 32 is able to knock off a good final 1/3 of the race, as it'll be 30 laps to go and 2 circuits around the racetrack, then he could be a contender to play the role of what Bobby Terrell did 1 week ago, because he's splitting up our championship drivers right now. E.J. O'Rourke, though, once again finds himself in P4. He wants to join the fray between Comstock and Dwayne, but they're already all over each other, back bumper to bumper for those top 2 positions right now. And Dwayne, again, I thought he might have been able to cross over Comstock when Comstock made that pass. We saw him do that earlier in the race at a 4, but it was such a beautifully executed move by that 20. Dwayne's back to him now. We'll see if he can do anything.
We will see if he can do anything with them. And right now, coming to the 2/3 mark of this race, we're also going to step aside for one more break. We'll go side by side so you won't miss a thing, and come back with more from Auto Club Speedway in just a moment. David Comstock leads Dwayne Vincent. Dalton England, E.J. O'Rourke, and Jonathan Cadell from Fontana, California. This is the RSR Icebreaker Winter Series on LSRTV.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but it can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
Welcome back to LSRTV and the RSR Icebreaker Winter Series. Coming down to it, we just had a lead change a lap ago, 64 in the books, and Dwayne Vincent took the top spot back away from David Comstock, Kevin. These two just keep changing it up. It'll be about 10 laps that Comstock will get it, then Vincent will take it back. And right now, we watch back a little bit further. Dalton England had a run for second and got really, really loose and had some trouble. He's back to fourth, and another guy having a little bit of trouble dropping back to sixth, Ronnie Potts.
And now we return to that situation with the top three on track. Dwayne Vincent, David Comstock, and E.J. O'Rourke. Now, the 32 is not going to let that one go very easily. He is all over the E.J. O'Rourke machine. Meanwhile, Jonathan Cadell at the number 11 car, fighting with the 47, Sean Brightsman. This one, a close quarters battle. A bit of rubbing going on for a top 5 position right there. Brightsman, one of the cars that's moving forward as 39th position, is able to get up to what's going to be P6 after he gets around Cadell. Cadell now starting to slide backwards, 3 wide as we go down the front straightaway to the outside on the 23 of O'Rourke goes England, just as we were splitting a lap car. So the battle for third continues, but Dwayne Vincent doing an excellent job, doing what he needs to do, and right now looks like he's on par to be able to get those bonus points for most laps led, and if he finishes right now, would be back-to-back maximum points races for the 9, which is exactly what it needs. Again, he leads in tonight's race by 1 point over E.J. O'Rourke and just 3 over David Comstock for the championship that ends in 1 week.
It's gonna be interesting, and we keep an eye on this. The back. Dalton England hard in the wall. That was a little bit more than a sock, Kevin. That 32 car
He's gone.
popped
He's
it.
out.
Wow.
He was on the inside, and he knew he had to drive it in hard, and he just slid up coming out of 4, and we've seen it a couple times tonight, but he caught the fence. And again, the car immediately disappeared. It did say that he had manually disconnected, so, might have just immediately exited the sim out of frustration, but he knocked the fence down essentially out of 4. We talked about how much would that hurt your car. We saw Scott Sinley end up in the fence earlier. Jacob didn't hurt him that much, but obviously it looked like a frustration on behalf of Dalton England because he got the fence and immediately manually disconnected.
Yeah, guys, I'm hearing down here on pit road, E.J. O'Rourke yelling at his crew chief about the Dalton England McDonald's machine there. He has heavy front end damage, just doing everything he can to ride it out until these cars hit pit road.
We are going to come to complete 73 laps, this time by Dwayne Vincent leading the party. How long does he wait if he's going to come down? And Evan Pasoko, as we sit here in the LSRTV booth, we've seen how much tires really mean here at Fontana. Are you nervous about the Napa Chevrolet waiting this long to come down pit road?
Oh, there's trouble in front of him. The 19 car nearly just planted it in the wall. Garrett Atwell got loose in front of Dwayne Vincent. That car has already been down pit road. Jacob was getting back out there, passing the 9 and nearly, had the exact same thing happen to Dwayne that we just saw happen to EJ O'Rourke. The 19 nearly planted it in the wall, and Dwayne Vincent did get into the back of him, so there could be minor damage on the front end of the Napa machine. That's the risk that you take, that as well as a possibility if a caution flies. We've seen all season long that staying out versus making that short pit strategy can really benefit somebody, or it can really hurt you and get you cycled back in the back. It all depends on the caution or lack thereof on the way this cycles out. But Dwayne Vincent's been known to like to stay out. He is going to be running slower lap times right now than those guys that he's fighting with that have already come down. They've already gotten their service. The question is, does the 9 feel that when he gets back out, he'll be able to make the pass? I'm a fan of the short pit strategy, but the 9 car may be hanging on here, and he nearly had to run it again with that 19 car, who nearly ended up with him in the fence, and both of them getting wrecked out of this race. Could have easily happened that way, and that's something that he has to deal with, because there's going to be a lot of cars passing him here that are faster because they've already pitted.
This is going to be dicey, and the biggest thing is going to be this pit delta. We've seen it be about 36 or 37 seconds for the most part, and it's going to be excruciatingly close. I mean, I know you can take 2 tires and get out a lot quicker, and that may be what Vincent's trying, or even just to gas and go, Evan. I mean, he's only got to hold him off for a few laps at this point, if that's what we're trying to do. Short pit, just go fuel to the end. But right now, the 9 leading the way, and Garrett Atwell trying to get a lap back right here. He is all over the rear deck lid of Dwayne Vincent, and this is the risk that you take with all these guys faster than you. This is not a good situation for Dwayne Vincent to be in. If he's not careful, he could catch a fender, or one of these guys trying to get around him. You could have disaster strike at a moment's notice. Atwell to the inside.
Look at Atwell already nearly wrecked that 9 car coming off of 2. It was just a simple, innocent, bobble, but it was because of the fact that the 9 was right behind that 19 as Atwell was completing that pass that Dwayne actually got into him. The 19 evidently fast. You see the 9 is not even messing around, waiting so that those guys get well clear, and if anything happens between them, he'll have an opportunity to react to that, and he's coming down pit road now, so we'll have to see how Dwayne Vincent's going to stack up with everybody else within 15 to go, and we'll cover his stop down to Justin.
Waiting for the long pit road to creep up on Dwayne Vincent's Napa Chevy pit box down at the end of pit road. Still coming down here just past the start-finish stripe, waiting here for the number 9 Napa Chevrolet, waiting to see what he's going to do here. Crew standing up on the wall as he's pulling into his pit box, hits his marks clean. Looking like it's going to be a gas and go, maybe right side tires up on the number 9 Napa Chevy. 2 Goodyear tires down and away. 9.8 seconds here for your leader, Dwayne Vincent.
All right, Evan, so now, if you're Vincent, we're watching exactly where he's going to shake out with the 20 of Comstock. That's the guy he is racing. This is going to be tight. This is going to be really tight, and Vincent is going to, I believe, if I'm watching this cycle out right, he's going to lose Comstock. O'Rourke's going to get around him.
Not even close.
No, not even close at all.
And now he will be faster at the moment than those guys that have already pitted, but I think the difference is he's only going to be quicker, maybe by a tenth or two, while those drivers have had the opportunity to be faster than him by sometimes even a second per lap, which is what has caused him to lose so much time. Comstock, the number 20, sits P10 right now on the racetrack, which would, you would assume that the 10 cars in front of him yet to come down pit road. But you got Comstock back to EJ O'Rourke. That one is 3 seconds, but Dwayne Vincent finds himself about 5-6 total back from David Comstock. So if this goes green and it all cycles out, the 20 car sitting real good after it looked like the 9 was in control of this race, and staying out is the strategy call that he made, and it may have costed him a win.
I'm shocked by this, Evan, and I told you when it happened that I expected that if the 20 came down, the 9 could not wait very long, and you see the gap right there. It's 4.5 seconds that Vincent gave up. You just could not wait on these tires. We've seen tires be pinged tonight, and Vincent's been bitten. Now as we come to 10 laps to go, I'm not going to say it's completely over. If we get a caution, that changes things. But for a guy like Dwayne Vincent, who's in this points battle. This is giving up crucial points headed to Las Vegas next week.
Yeah, he was on track again for what would have been back-to-back max points night for leading a lap, leading the most laps as well as taking it home to victory lane. Got 48 points 1 week ago, which allowed him to again take that championship lead by just 1 point over O'Rourke and then 3 points back to David Comstock, who sits third total. But again, going into a double points race, the fact that the guy who entered the night on the top of the guys that he's fighting with, now he's on the bottom and they're only separated by, 1 position or so each. This is going to be possibly even closer than what it looks like right now, rolling in. And again, this race still far from over. Although we are in the final 10 laps, a lot can still happen. You mentioned a caution flag could fly. That could shuffle everything up. But you got Brightsman, Roth, Marinak, Cadell, you got Kevin Linden, Nathan Little, William Kemp, and Ed Williams Jr. All of these cars still in front of David Comstock, who sits P9, and we anticipate that they still need to cycle down pit road.
I wouldn't be so sure of that, Evan. I hear the words fuel strategy being bantered around. Justin, what are we talking? Brightsman's leading by 6 seconds. He can afford to back off a little bit.
Yeah, Brightsman running way off the pace here, about 2 seconds off the quickest guys on the track at this time here. I'm here in the 47 down through about 5th, 6th place there, the 41 and Nathan Little, all going to try to make it to the end on fuel.
Oh boy, 8 laps to go this time. We're about to see ourselves a battle for what would be second. Right now it's going to be the battle for 10th on the racetrack between Dwayne Vincent and EJ O'Rourke, the 9. Going to the inside of the racetrack, trying to make up that time. He'll clear the 23 of EJ O'Rourke, so move Dwayne Vincent back to position number 2. Crossover for the 23. They're going at it down the back straightaway.
EJ cannot finish behind Dwayne and David back-to-back races. He knows how important this position could be for that number 23 gmercer.com Chevrolet entry rolling into Las Vegas. That being said, Dwayne knows that equally as much. It is not going to cut him any slack, and using that outside lane, number 9 car, going to be able to get a great run out of 4. He'll have the advantage at the stripe. May go 3 wide here. We got to split the lap machine at the 41 car, and they almost nearly ran out of room there, and Dwayne's going to get clear of him, and I don't think that 23 might be able to get back to the back bumper of that number 9 car. Dwayne Vincent, so strong, but he's too far back, I feel, if he wants to put up a legitimate fight against Comstock. Nearly planted it in the fence. He caught the wall just the slightest bit off the corner, but he now slides up to, again, what would be, in theory, P2 if everybody else needs to come down pit road. But Sean Brightsman in the 47 machine has still not come down as he works about 6 laps to go. He's been out there for 30-plus laps.
I've got an inkling that Brightsman may not be the one in the catbird seat, Evan. I'm looking at the guy behind him that just took second away from Doug Roth, the 11, the Amsoil machine of Jonathan Cadell. Cadell is able to run a little bit more at pace. He blew by Stefan Marinak in the 24 and Doug Roth in the 43 on the outside lane. And Brightsman's on the apron. I think he might be out of fuel.
He's just trying to get whatever he can. Still under power right now for the top
wiggling.
spot. That one 5 laps to go. For that 47 Rockwell entry, slows it down to rated range of about 137 miles an hour in the corner, but he's running 44-second lap times. You got Jonathan Cadell, he ran a 44 the last time, but the guys that we know have nothing to save right now, guys like Comstock, O'Rourke, and company, are running 42 seconds, 42 sevens, 42 eights, so you know that Brightsman and Cadell are probably going a little bit slower by design here as well. Obviously, tires not equal to what those guys that have just been down pit road are running at right now, but Cadell is not going to catch Brightsman straight up right now. 6.4 seconds is the gap. A caution would end this race, with the 47 still leading it at the start-finish line. Can Sean Brightsman steal the win?
I'm waiting to see what kind of lap times Cadell is running right here. It was 6.4. It's now 6.5 last time by Jonathan Cadell. Backing off a little bit. Can Brightsman go the distance on fuel? It seems like it would be almost a California miracle, but that 47 Rockwell Chevrolet is trying to do just that. This time by, it'll be just 6 miles to go. He's drafting off John Abbott, trying to use everything he can get to save it on fuel. 3 to go at the stripe this time.
Yeah, 6.5, so you know there's not going to be a fight for that. They're just trying to make it the distance. Could a yellow even save them? And just coast around for the end of this race again, because 3 laps at this racetrack, that's a long way around. 6 miles at this racetrack, being 2.0 miles per lap per circuit around this. Sean Brightsman, though, 29th fastest in the practice session. Got a top 10 car in qualifying. Has been quiet all race long. Meanwhile, David Comstock still sits in P6 right now. Dwayne Vincent is 7th and O'Rourke is 8th.
He's out. He's out, Evan. The 47 cannot make it. He's coasting through turns 3 and 4.
Back under power again, but he sputtered there in 3.
Oh,
he's really trying to stretch this now.
He is trying. He's trying to do everything he can. I'm watching the speed 170 at the stripe.
He's shutting it off.
He's doing he's pulling a Brad Keselowski. He's shutting it off in the corners just about.
He's running 45-second lap times. He does have 5 seconds back to the 11 of Jonathan Cadell. Again, you can click on him. You can watch the determination that he's got right now trying to chase him down. But Sean Brightsman, they can look at the estimated mileage. They can look at how many gallons of fuel left. He's got 1.5 laps to go, and he's doing everything he can to make it to the checkers.
Everything he can comes down to 2 miles. Evan, bail out because white flag coming in the air off turn number 4. Can Brightsman make it? He's 2 miles away from victory lane.
He's got nothing to lose. No reason for him to duck down and, top it off. If you're a guy like in the championship, there's a lot more on the line. The 47, he wins or he doesn't. That's it. He wants the hardware. He's on the final lap. 3.8 seconds. That's what he can afford to give up. Jonathan Cadell, who's backed it off. The 43 of Doug Roth, making a move on the 40 to Kevin Linden. We got a 3-car battle, 4-car battle for second on back, but Brightman's got half a lap to go.
Half a lap into turn number 3. He's got to not sputter one more time into turn 3 for the last time at Fontana. I think he's gonna make it. Off turn 4, the Rockwell Chevrolet is going to play the gamble to perfection. Sean Brightsman down on the apron to the checkered flag. He's out, but he's going to win it at Fontana.
Wow, sputtered he ran out about 25 feet short of that start-finish line.
Wow.
That's what you call cutting it close. Amazing that he was able to put it right on that. Kevin Linden steals second position. Marinak third. Doug Roth with a P4. Cadell slides back to 5th, but he literally ran out just about 6 car lengths from the start-finish line. You can't make it any closer than that. He got 3 seconds when it was done. What a way to steal that one. Amazing. Great job at the 47.
Are you kidding me?
We talked about spoilers, and I guess we kind of discredited everybody else.
Yeah.
We talked about Bobby Terrell. Terrell was, running in between our guys like Comstock and Vincent and O'Rourke. They're going to, by the way, come home all in unison. 6th position for Comstock, 7th for Vincent, and 8th for E.J. O'Rourke. Bobby Terrell right behind him in 9th position. But Sean Brightsman just stole this race. It was not the fastest car on track, but the strategy call gets the job done, and that Rockwell Chevy earned this one. And does he have enough fuel left to do burnouts? I think he's got a little bit left in it.
I guess we're about to find out, aren't we? He pulls it down way to the apron, and I don't know. O'Rourke's coming up there to give him a little bit.
I think he'll just park it there.
I think he's good. I think he's done. We're just going to park it at the flag, and that's going to be the end.
No, he's got some. There you go.
There we go.
Just enough.
Just enough to do a little bit with it. One
Good
donut,
news for him
and
is
he's
victory
out.
lane's not that far away. It's just in the grass there. They just got to push it.
They'll push it. Brightsman with the win. How about Kevin Linden to second? This is going to be a podium for the ages. Marinak third. We can probably find Comstock there as well. He was the first guy that had fuel to the finish. I mean, it was close. We'll talk to the top runners in just a moment on the Gary Mercer Trucking post-race show. Right now, we'll take care of some business. You're watching LSRTV and the RSR Icebreaker Winners Series. Just wow. Welcome back to LSRTV. A wild finish here from Auto Club Speedway. Jacob Seelman and Evan Pasoko ready to wrap it all up here on the Gary Mercer Trucking post-race show. We're going to throw it down trackside here in just a moment. But Evan, I don't even know what to say after this one. I didn't think there was any way that was going to pan out the way it did. Sean Brightsman, holy cow.
We were looking at guys, second on back, a guy like Cadell, even Linden, Marinak, Roth possibly doing it, but Sean Brightsman stretched everything he could. He was shutting the car off. He wasn't, just coasting. He was no power on it, and he literally shuts it off and gets all the way to the win, and it was a wild finish.
It was wild, and I'm down on pit road with the first of our top three tonight, and Stefan Marinak. Wow. I didn't expect any of you guys to make it to the finish on fuel. Somehow, you're able to make it pan out. Talk about that run to the checkered flag, because it had to be excruciating the last couple of laps.
Yeah, it was, man. But for most of that run, I didn't even think I could make it. My fuel was going down so fast, and about, I would say, 20 laps to go. Me and Doug Roth noticed that we might be able to make it. We just had to start saving, so we hooked up in the draft, and he was a little bit better on fuel than I was, so I was drafting behind him, and we made it to the end somehow.
Somehow you make it to the checkered flag. It's the best finish, I think, from you this entire Icebreaker Winter Series, Stefan, with a podium result. After the first 6 or so races that you guys have had, nice to finally put one together, even if you had to use a little bit of strategy.
Yeah, definitely. I haven't had the best luck this season, whether it's, someone else or something of my doing. I think we've been really fast, and we've been in contention to win some races, but it just hasn't panned out at the end. And it was nice for one of these races to finally go my way.
It goes your way, Stefan. One more to close it. I know you were on the outskirts of the championship coming into this, and double points gives you a shot at it, but it's basically going to take those top three all having some sort of issues. So does Las Vegas for you now just become really a source of pride, go out, try to win the finale, and let the chips fall where they may?
Yeah, definitely. That's pretty much what I've been doing for these last 2 races, and I've just been trying to have some fun, because it's going to take something big for me to get up there. So I'm just going to go out there and try to win the race, and, hopefully with the double points, something might happen.
Something may just happen, Stefan, but before we cut you loose, no, you can't do it alone, and you got people to thank. So that 24 team made it to the checkered flag, but who makes it happen for Stefan Marinak?
Yeah, I want to thank Safe Racer for coming on board. They're sponsoring our other league, ITSR, and I really want to thank them for doing that. And then everyone at the Wolfpack, everyone at RSR, you guys for doing the broadcast, and that's it.
Stefan Marinak comes home third tonight. Evan Pasoko, I'm going to throw it over to you, the other end of pit road, where Kevin Linden is waiting, and that 48 machine, I've been waiting for a run like this out of that team, and they finally get it tonight.
We've caught up with the driver of the number 48 machine, and Evan Linden, a P2 tonight. One of those cars that was on that strategy, Colin. It wasn't P2 coming down to those final 2 laps or so, but everybody in that pack there, Kevin, you, Steph, and Doug, you kind of all jumped all over Jonathan Cadell, who was kind of stretching it to the end there as well. But how did you guys decide that was the call you were going to go with? And did you think it would work and take you to a podium finish?
Yeah, I looked at they probably take us maybe to the podium. We didn't get track position all night and got shuffled back on the restarts. And when I saw we had enough really to stretch it out, if we backed the lap times up a little bit, there was a thought, well, there's a good chance we might steal a win here.
Well, you're able to come home again with that P2 tonight, and walk us through what the race was like. We saw great opening stints, a couple of yellows there for about that portion, just about the 1/3 of the way through this race, but other than that, a lot of clean green racing, no cautions fall in the middle of that pit stop strategy, which again really can kind of throw a curveball into those things, but for the most part, that second half of the race was nice and clean and green. We saw a lot of guys, though, getting real loose, getting tight, coming off the corner, quite a few guys getting into the fence. How'd you keep that 48 car on track tonight?
And the race was actually good when the tires got a little old. When you got about 30 laps into the run, the setup was real good. But at the restarts, it was a little bit dicey and traffic in the back. But on the longer runs, it actually was pretty good.
Well, it's a P2 for you in the Lowe's Cobalt entry. We're taking a look at it. Before we let you go, Kevin, sponsors and shout-outs to everybody that finally makes this kind of a run possible for you. Who makes the job done?
Oh, I give a shout-out to my wife. Shout-out to RSR for a great league. Can't wait for the Cup Series to start back up again the next month. And a shout-out to you guys in the booth for doing a great job.
Well, Kevin, we appreciate the kind words. Thanks for taking a moment to talk to us again. Congratulations on getting that 48 machine. They finished that. It well deserves, I know, a P2 for you guys tonight. So again, congratulations. Good luck rolling forward, and we look forward to seeing you and the team in 2015 as well for the rest of this series with 1 week to go, but the Cup Series as well that you just mentioned.
Oh, yeah, we're looking forward to the Cup Series coming up. Won't be long now. We'll get the Cup car back on the track.
That is your second place finisher tonight. Driver of the number 48 Lowe's Cobalt Chevrolet Camaro, Kevin Linden, after starting in 18th, comes home with a P2. But now down to victory lane, and by the way, it's a CPR entry. Jacob Seal, but he's down with the 47 to Sean Breitzman, who steals this one right from underneath our championship drivers.
5 different Cody Bias Racing entries have gone to victory lane in 7 RSR Icebreaker Winter Series events. I am blown away by the job that not only this team has done, but Sean Breitzman, fuel to the finish. You ran out, I think, about 50 yards from the start-finish line. We saw it sputter once you got it going. How on earth did you stretch the fuel to make it to the checkered flag?
Honestly, I really don't know. I was running pretty low. Last 2 laps, I had like 1 gallon left, so I was clutching it, turning it off, doing anything I could to save that last gallon.
You save the last gallon, get to victory lane. This team has been incredible, this CBR camp all season long, and you finally get one now, end up in victory lane. How big is this for you as a driver after seeing all the success your teammates have had?
This is great. This is a big move. I like it. I'm super happy, more happy for our team, CBR, THM, GMTI, everybody there. They do an awesome job spotting, communicating, everything. It's fantastic.
It's fantastic, and it puts you in victory lane. It was a crazy race. When did you guys make the call? Was this going to be the call from the beginning, trying to make it on fuel, or did the run just play out that partway through you guys decided to go for it?
During that last yellow there, I came in and topped off just in case, because there was kind of a chatter on our team about possibly not making it or not. So I figured I'd go ahead and stop off, fill it up, and try to save some during that run. And then as the run kept going green, I figured I need to save more. So that's what I did.
You saved more, and it was enough to get you to the win. I know how big this is for you, Sean, and I know you can't do it alone. So sponsors and shout-outs, who makes it happen for Sean Breitzman?
I'd say the boys at CBR, Timmy Hill, Brendan Mercer, EJ, David, everybody on that team keeps me coming back to iRacing and hanging out and just having a good time with the friends.
It's been fun, and you find yourself in Gatorade Victory Lane tonight. Go celebrate with the team. Congratulations, Sean, and we'll see you, I would assume, in a week's time for the finale at Vegas.
You betcha. Thanks, guys.
That's Sean Breitzman. I'm done from down here in Gatorade Victory Lane, Evan. I'll throw it back topside somewhere up there. I would have to imagine that results are forthcoming.
We got results as well as the updated championship standings to talk about. We'll get to that in a moment, but let's give you the full field rundown on how they all stacked up tonight after our race 7 of 8 from the Auto Club Speedway. We talked to the top 3, Sean Breitzman taking home the checkered flag, Kevin Linden and Stefan Marinak 2nd through 3rd, Doug Roth with a P4, Jonathan Cadell slides from 2nd to 5th on the final lap, still gets a top 5 out of it. Then our championship drivers, David Comstock, P6, 7th, Dwayne Vincent in 8th, E.J. O'Rourke. Right behind them, Bobby Terrell, the Muscle Mount Country in 9th, and rounding out the top 10, P6, that's the Raleigh Potts machine.
Yeah, 11th went to William Kemp. 12th to Garrett Atwell, who was trading blows with the leaders for a while. 13th to Scott Sinley. 14th, Ed Williams Jr. And 15th, the last car on the lead lap, Nathan Little. 16th, Wyatt Wolf. 17th, Matt Lacrosse. 18th, Stephen Herring. 19th, John Abbott, the last car running. Everybody else from there on back, Evan, was behind the wall tonight.
Yeah, Dalton England, who was a machine that looked like he was possibly going to win this race, comes home 21st position. 22nd was Scott Saunders. Ralph Nolan Jr. as well with a P20. 23rd, Brendan Mercer. Dan Murray, 24th. 25th to the Jimmy North machine. 26th, Rich Jett. Mike Montesi with a 27th place result. P28 to LT Sarabia. Jamie Pitts in 29th. Rounding out the top 30 was Tony Drion. And the shotgun on the field, Doug Manning, who finishes in 31st position. 77 laps down, had to go behind the wall early. The cars that were scheduled to start did not make it. Adam Benefiel was scheduled to make a start, did not hit the track, neither did Jamie Moore, Joey Chatina, or J. Randall Watkins.
And it's shocking. I expected Benefiel in this race tonight, Evan. He's left the Trifecta Racing Group now with Tyler Hudson calling his retirement. So Benefiel back in the mix tonight. And I was hoping he was going to be a contender, be in this race. A little bit disappointed to not see that 85 car in the field tonight. I know he would have given it a heck of a show.
That was a big thing to note. Benefiel leaving Trifecta just recently and was going to make a start tonight and had full intentions of making the start tonight, but he comes home with a P32 when it's all said and done. Did not start. That would have been great because he was fastest in practice with the fastest lap of 42.011. So it would have been fun to see what Adam could do. We've seen him in the Full Throttle Cup Series, so might see him next week for our season finale as well. Do anticipate to see that number 85 car for the 2015 Cup side of things.
Yeah, but before we get to that, one more thought that I had, Evan, and I'll toss it back over here because the guy who did so much tonight, David Comstock, I thought was in the catbird seat, and then these guys are saving fuel. And David, you did everything you could do there at the end, and just somehow it still wasn't enough.
Yeah, it was a variable that we didn't predict would happen. We just were going for all-out speed tonight, trying to lead as many laps as we could, and of course try to win the race. But our teammate Sean there was saying he was really close on making it, and sure enough, he did a hell of a job in winning this race. So congrats to him.
For you, going into the championship finale, 4 points separate the top three now. You're in this mix, 3 points back, double points on the line. But with the way the math works out, it's winner take all between you, EJ, and Dwayne Vincent. How big is this finale going to be in a week's time?
It is going to be huge. And if you are not here to watch this, you need to be here because this is going to be one heck of a show next week. We are going all in at Vegas.
All in, under the lights. We've seen you be good everywhere. What's it going to take to be good at Las Vegas? And even more so, what's it going to take to win this championship?
It's going to be just qualify first and win the race. That's all we got to do. It's pretty much just like the Cup Series finale at Homestead. It's us three. We're pretty much tied at points. I mean, there's a few other guys who are further back that if we happen to crash out, all three of us, I hope we don't, but those guys that are further back in points can still win the championship. So there's a lot of guys that are still in it besides us three.
It's definitely not over, David, and I know you just want to get to next Monday and try to settle it out. Is that the only option, though? With as well as you and Dwayne have been running, is that literally the only option at this point unless one of you wrecks out of this?
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, if one of us wrecks out, I mean, EJ's still there, so he's been running real strong all week, so don't discount him. So I think, yes, winning is going to be what it takes to win this whole deal next week.
Before we cut you loose, David, you had a dominant car and I thought was going to be in the catbird seat to win it. It didn't quite pan out, but you still finished top 6. I know you can't do it by yourself. Who makes it happen for you in the 20 team?
Yeah, we really wanted to win this race this week because it was hometown sponsors and drivers for us tonight, but we can't thank Cody Bias Racing, Monster Energy, Gary Mercer Trucking, all those guys back at the shop preparing our cars every week. We can't thank those guys enough. We're going to we're gonna give her all next week.
David, we're looking forward to it. It's probably going to be the most exciting race I think we've seen on LSR since the finale, the winner-take-all finale at Homestead for the Full Throttle Cup Series. Best of luck to you, and we'll see you at Vegas.
All right. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next week.
That's David Comstock. He comes home with a top 6 result, Evan. And before we cut out, that's the thought right there. Now the points don't matter. It's the way the math shakes out. If one of those 3 wins the race, the title is theirs, period, end of discussion. Could we ask for more going to Sin City?
Well, we talk about this essentially being a chase, with it only being an 8-race season, not even a 10-race, and there's no rounds, there's no elimination, but it comes down to it for the statisticians that Dwayne Vincent does lead. And he got David Comstock 3 back, and 4 back is E.J. O'Rourke. If you win, again, those bonus points are going to be able to give you, the win in the championship as well. But we talk about bonus points for leading laps, leading the most laps. That could as well be a huge factor in if these guys are not at the top spot. And, if they finish the race like they sit right now, an additional 2 points, an additional at least 1 for leading a lap of the race could be absolutely crucial. And I like the point that he brought up is the fact that they were too busy giving it 110% to think about the fuel strategy, because that's the mentality they had to have. They had to go out there. They had to lead as many laps as they can. They had to do whatever they could to get as many bonus points and try to win the race. So in giving it 110%, they didn't really have the opportunity to kind of step back and think about the fuel strategy, but that just shows you that, and he said they're all in, and they're going to give it everything they have at Las Vegas. Double points, you got to roll the dice, you got to gamble on it. Perfect racetrack to close it out at, and we'll definitely be looking forward to next Monday night.
We will indeed. We will be there. And special thanks. I'm giving a shout out down to Pit Road, Justin. It's been fun having you down there helping us out tonight. Looking forward to seeing you back in this LSR broadcast crew. And I don't know, if you want to come back next Monday night, it's going to be, like David said, I think one heck of a show.
Well, under the lights in Las Vegas, you're talking about a track that's got a little bit more banking here than the Auto Club Speedway. And you're talking about 3 guys literally with nothing to lose. All hell is going to break loose under the lights. And Jacob, I got to tell you, and you as well, Evan, I've seen these guys run for years. It's going to be no hold barred, and don't you guys miss it, because it's going to be some of the most exciting racing you're ever going to see here on the iRacing service.
And until then, we're inviting you 1 week's time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Tune right here to LSRTV. We'll be in Sin City. No better place to crown a champion. Las Vegas Motor Speedway, under the lights. 3 men, 1 champion. Winner take all. Until then, this RSR Icebreaker Winter Series has rolled through round 7. Congratulations to Sean Breitzman on fumes. He picks up the victory here in Fontana. For Evan Pasoko, Justin Rosenau, and our executive producer, Laura Lawson, I'm Jacob Seelman. Keep it off the wall, race fans, until we meet again, and we'll see you next time on the web. Good night.